What's going on, YouTube? What's the deal? It's your boy Moose back with another video, and y'all see the BMW M4 behind me. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to drive the BMW M4 and talk about everything y'all need to know before hopping in this car and driving it. Alright guys, so behind me we have, or now in front of me for real, we have my beautiful BMW M4 Competition G82. This one right here is actually the rear-wheel drive variant. It's not the all-wheel drive one, but it's pretty much the same exact process to drive in this car as the all-wheel drive one. So as you guys can see, the exterior is modified on my car. It's got the front grille, the side vents, it's got the front lip. All of these parts that you see on the car, the cosmetic upgrades are from motivomotoring.com, which is my online business. And as you can see, the fitment and everything is A1 on my products, side skirts as well. And let's go ahead and get that rear real quick. The tail lights, spoiler, and diffuser are from Motivo Motoring as well. So we got the laser style tail lights. These are actually not the stock ones that come on these cars, but enough about the exterior modifications. Car is lowered on KW springs, if anyone's wondering, by the way. What do you guys need to know about this car? This car is an absolute joy, and it's one of the most fun cars you can drive, especially for this price. And it's actually not that complicated. A lot of the older BMW M cars were a little bit more confusing to drive, but I feel like this car is actually pretty straightforward. It's inline 6-cylinder. We'll go ahead and pop the motor and show you guys the heart of the beast and talk about it a little bit. What powers these cars is the S58 motor from BMW. It is an inline 6-cylinder twin turbo stock. These cars come with about 500 horsepower roughly. It varies from competition and non-competition models, but it's right about 500 horsepower. And yeah, this motor is a lot of fun. It's a really good motor. My car specifically is tuned, and in order to tune these cars, you have to do something that's called an ECU unlock with Femto. That basically allows you to be able to run like BootMod 3, which is a tuning software on these cars, and other tuning softwares like MHD. Usually people stick with the usually people stick with this software called JB4 on these cars, and that's because they don't want to void the warranty. If you unlock the ECU, it voids your warranty, but you get a lot more horsepower. So my car on E85 makes right under 800 wheel horsepower. Absolute missile. Right now I have it on 93, but I'm not going to be really pushing it like that for this video. I have something called a reflex kit, downpipe, port injection, and a bunch of other modifications, but this isn't what it's about. Boom. Inline 6-cylinder S58 motor is a specific name for it, and it is mated to a 8-speed automatic ZF transmission. Now, why am I mentioning the transmission, you might ask? This car is pretty much the exact same as a normal automatic. Those older cars that had the dual clutch transmissions didn't have park buttons, so generally it was like a really confusing process to go ahead and like get in the car and drive it, right? But with these cars, it's actually pretty straightforward. You used to have to like basically leave the car and drive and pull your handbrake up to park it. Now it's just as easy as this. We got our foot on the brake, right? Start button's right here. Hit it. Boom, the car starts. And also, I forgot to mention, I have a active auto work equal length mid pipe on my car, and I also have it paired with a active auto work catted downpipe. So if you like how this car sounds and you want this sound for your BMW, feel free to check out Active Auto Work. They have, in my opinion, the best exhaust setups for the BMW M4 and M3 G80/G82. Now back to what we were saying, right? So with these cars, it's really straightforward, easy, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys some of the my favorite like features on the car, technology wise. So boom, we come to the settings, and if we go ahead and click driving information, there's the sport display right here. Now your sport display will be different because my car is tuned and everything, so you won't have 800 horsepower on there and like 720 foot-pounds of torque, but you get the sport display with the torque figures, horsepower, PSIs for your turbo, and then G-forces, and then just oil temps, right? But let's say I press the gas or anything, you can see it go up and adjust accordingly. And if you're full throttle, usually it'll be like right here. That's one of the things I really like about these cars, is that you kind of get to see everything. And right now I also have a tire pressure light because the set of wheels I have don't have the TPMS sensors on them. They're on my other wheels. But let's say I go ahead and hit the M button right here, you would basically get your tire pressure along with your tire temp. And I think that's a very useful feature, because when you want to like really drive the car, usually you want to have some heat in your tires, and being able to see that like your tires are warmed up and everything, I feel like it's very convenient. Another feature that I'm a huge fan of on these cars is the ambient lighting. You get this selection right here with a whole bunch of different colors on them. The older ones, you only really had 2 choices, so this is a good step up on BMW's end. You got orange, you got bronze, you have, what did I just do? White, which is pretty boring to me. Blue, I usually stick to the blue, green, and purple the most. This is green and this is purple. So yeah, BMW did good with their ambient lighting on these cars. As you can see, it's like all over the dashboard, and it extends to the side thing right here. I don't even know, it extends to the door anyways. So good feature on BMW for that. Now let's talk about the steering wheel real quick. You got the paddle shifters in the back. If you got a manual car, obviously you won't have paddle shifters, but mine's is automatic. And then you have these 2 settings, M1 and M2. A lot of people misconstrue these buttons. These are basically like save profiles, right? So you can adjust it from the iDrive system right here. All right, let's go back and show you how to do that. You go into the M menu, and then you see the configure M1 and M2 button, or like display thing right here. Also, this is touch screen, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. So basically you can set your car up to whatever settings you want, and it'll get saved. So now when you click this button, it'll automatically go into that specific setting. People usually think like these are hard set, but they're not. But yeah, that's a really nice feature on this car that I like. It's very convenient if I'm driving regular. Keep it in its comfort setting, and then let's say I want to go ahead and like drive a bit more spirited, I hit the M1 button. I have my like configured setting, and then the M1 display like screen thing right there pops up, and then boom, that's how you know you're in M1. You can also hear the valves open and close when you're in sport versus comfort. So listen, closed, open. This is the heads up display. So if I click the M mode button right here, it'll change that and change to this screen with the navigation in it and everything, and then boom, now you have a smaller heads up display. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and drive the M4 now. Straightforward, like I was saying earlier. Kick this in a drive like so, and then now you're ready to go. And you know, now we're rolling, right? It's starting to rain a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not about to be pushing this car way too hard, so yeah, we're gonna be taking it easy, right? Boom. Car's lowered, so just gotta watch when you're pulling out of like places like that. It's pretty straightforward though, not really too complicated to drive. Honestly, it drives just like a regular car. Until you start really getting into it, you won't really be able to tell the difference between it and like a... What is something I love about this car? I love how the motor feels on this car. This car feels very quick. And, you know, I've even driven stock ones, and the stock ones, like, it's very noticeable how quick the car is because the amount of torque the motor has. Like, it's very torquey. And, you know, I just absolutely love that about the motor. One thing I dislike about the car though, coming from an older M4, I had a 2016 M4, so it was like the body style before this one. I'm not the biggest fan of the steering feel on this car. I think it feels a little bit more numb than the older one did. And I'm not a big fan of the suspension as well. It's a good suspension setup, don't get it twisted, but I'm just comparing it to the older car. I feel like the older car, the suspension feel of it was a bit more sporty. This car is very capable, and it's not like it doesn't handle corners well or anything, but I'd say the older one just felt more agile the way it was set up. So those are, I'd say, the only real things I dislike about this car. But I wouldn't even say dislike. I feel like dislike is a strong word for it. Because I don't dislike it or hate it or anything. I just feel like it could use a bit of an improvement, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Other than that though, the motor is fantastic. Obviously, like, the nice thing about this car, it's a car you can get in and do like triple digits and it'll feel like you're doing 60. Like, the car is very planted. It handles corners really nicely, and it's very usable. You know, it's like you get everything with this car. You get the power, you get the looks, you get the performance, the handling, the technology, and there's like no sacrifices in any sort of way. The car feels very high quality and premium. Feels a lot more premium than the older M4s did. And everything you touch feels nice. Like, these paddle shifters specifically are a good step up from the old paddle shifters and how those felt. So I gotta give BMW where credit is due, and they absolutely killed it with, you know, the delivery of this vehicle and the feel of it. And I think the market speaks. Like, when you look at these cars and you look at what they go for secondhand, like, it's very obvious that people want these cars and enjoy them and love them, actually, because like the depreciation of these cars has been pretty solid. Like, I remember the previous gen M4, I'd say, depreciated relatively quickly, but these cars are now going on like 4 years of like age, right? They're 4 years old now, because this car came out and the first year of production for it was 2021. Now we have the 2025 models rolling out, and you're not gonna find these vehicles cheaper than, I want to say, maybe mid to high 60s, right? And that's for a very clapped out example. So I'm saying that to say, like, this car brand new is roughly around 80 grand, depending on how you option it. I've seen them go up to like 90 grand and 100 grand. But especially for the X-Drive models and the M3 X-Drive, on average, these cars on the secondhand market are going for 70s and even 80s, you know? So, you know, these cars hold their value pretty well for them being a brand new vehicle and a BMW luxury vehicle, you know? So, yeah, BMW killed it with this car, and for the money, there's really not a lot better than this car in my eyes. And it's all relative, you know, it's all opinion based, but I'm just talking about strictly performance wise and everything you get. This car is a hell of a car, you know. And any car that you'll sit here and compare for performance numbers to, like the GT500 or Hellcat Red Eye or whatever, there's always something being sacrificed, right? The GT500 handles, but the interior is nothing like this interior, right? And same with the Red Eye. The Red Eye doesn't handle, interior isn't as nice, price is pretty much very similar, brand new, but this car handles better, interior is a lot nicer, has a lot more tech, and the performance on these cars is pretty much the exact same or even better. Tune versus tune, like against the Hellcat or, you know, cars like that. So, you know, C63s, I feel like Mercedes has went downhill recently. The C63s aren't really even comparable to this car anymore. You could compare them to the older ones, but these new C63s, I don't think even compete with this car. They absolutely killed it with this car, and It's a fantastic vehicle, right? So I'll go ahead and throw it in sport once traffic clears up a little bit. And any car that you'll sit here and compare for performance numbers to, like the GT500 or Hellcat Red Eye or whatever, there's always something being sacrificed, right? The GT500 handles, but the interior is nothing like this interior, right? And same with the Red Eye. The Red Eye doesn't handle, interior isn't as nice, price is pretty much very similar, brand new, but this car handles better, interior is a lot nicer, has a lot more tech, and the performance on these cars is pretty much the exact same or even better. Tune versus tune, like against the Hellcat or, you know, cars like that. So, you know, C63s, I feel like Mercedes has went downhill recently, but C63s aren't really even comparable to this car anymore. You could compare them to the older ones, but these new C63s, I don't think even compete with this car. They absolutely killed it with this car, and it's a fantastic vehicle, right? So I'll go ahead and throw it in sport once traffic clears up a little bit. One thing though I'll mention that I've been seeing a lot of in these cars is people crashing them. Now, is this car an unpredictable car to drive? I don't think it's unpredictable. I honestly don't think it's a difficult car to drive at all. But with any car you buy, you have to get accustomed to it and how it feels before you really push it, right? And a lot of people hop in this car and feel overly confident, push it more than they should, and that's why you see a lot of people crashing these cars, right? But I feel like that's kind of how it is with any I want to say entry level, but I feel like this car is pretty up there in terms of price and everything. But, you know, like entry level performance car, let's just say that, like whether it be a Mustang or a Dodge of some sort, like a Scat Pack, Hellcat, whatever. When it's someone's first time having a car like of this caliber, and they're not really used to how these cars handle and drive and everything, and they get comfortable, that's when you start seeing people crashing. But especially if you leave the traction control on, the traction control will definitely step in and keep this car manageable and like controllable, right? Now me, I got used to driving this car with no traction on, so it's not really a big deal for me to turn it off. But, you know, I still know my limits and stuff. I'm not over here hammering on the car with no traction. But yeah, as you guys can hear, I've put that car in sport now. One thing I like about these cars, if you guys are going to race someone, for example, keep this in mind. If you shift with the paddle shifters, once you start redlining the car, like I'm going to show you here, car will shift itself, as you can see. Now, if you don't want that to happen, that's nice if you're going to like race someone. You just get it in the right gear and then just hit it and it does all the work for you. Now, if you don't want to do that, what you do is you can either pull the paddle down, and now when you just see it's like only like a number, so 6 for example, that means like you have to shift it yourself. I think BMW did a fantastic job with that feature, and that's definitely something a lot of other companies need to take note of and start doing. Now, if I were to kick it like this, now it's back in drive, right, regular. If you also kick it to the right, that's you basically putting it in manual mode. And I really like that feature from BMW. I think that's a great thing that they incorporated and did, and it's actually very convenient and useful, and a lot more companies need to take note of that. Now you can shift from the paddle shifters, right? And then you could also shift this way, so push that down, and you could adjust shiftability, like how firm the shifts are with this thing right here, right? So third setting is the most aggressive shift setting, and then it basically like just grabs the gear and go. Now if you go ahead and kick it into the first setting, it's more soft. It takes a bit longer to shift in gear and stuff like that. And it also correlates to when you have the car, and it's like automatic setting, right? So if you put it in the lowest aggression and like shift, it shifts a lot earlier, shifts a lot calmer and smoother. Now if I put it in the third setting, it's gonna be in like this track setting, and it's always gonna be in the right gear, right? All right, so we got my boy here with SDY Auto Detailing.
Yo, what's up, everyone?
And we're about to go ahead and get the M4 detailed and cleaned. So he's about to get me together. I'm gonna do exterior along with the interior. Now for me, I just don't know how to keep my interior clean, you know? It looks good on camera, but trust me, it definitely needs some work. So yeah, he's about to go ahead and hook it up. If you're in the Columbus, Ohio area, feel free to check him out. How can people get in touch with you and contact you? What's your IG?
So we got on Instagram, SDY Detailing.
Okay.
And you just find me over there. Send me a message and follow me, and we can get going from there.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it, bro. All right, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe. This is a kind of quick review. I just wanted to get some content out there for you guys because I'm gonna be leaving the city real soon. So, you know, the car is gonna be sitting here collecting dust, and I was just like, you know what? Let me go ahead and knock some of these ideas out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe. We got a lot of videos coming up for you guys in the next couple of months, so stay tuned. And I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good day. Stay blessed, stay safe. Peace.